Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Co.Lab Sound. This is our last live performance of the festival, rounding out the end of the first week. Thank you, everybody who's been tuning in so far and who caught our exquisite corpse this morning. This afternoon, I had Oyewale, a performance artist, doing a live set for us. His practice kind of promotes the human spirit, and work often involves creating conceptually with socio-political objects and sound art. A few years ago, he started experimenting with a fusion of African traditional music and modern electronic sound, using poetry and objects to kind of have a whole installation and performance all together. So I'm going to hand over in just a moment for a performance called Silé, which is a fusion of music created with domestic objects and poetry, and inspired by the Nigerian African Yoruba word for settlement. So I'm going to hand it over now to start the performance, and we'll get going in just a moment for you. Over to you.
and a kilo the bow. Oh, the man, okay, too. Oh, the loco, oh, the man, and a kilo the bow. Oh, the man, okay, too. I surrender, I surrender. I surrender, I surrender. It's on, it's on, it's on. Olódùmarè láyé rí lára wa o. Ìtọ́nà, ìtọ́nà, ìtọ́nà ẹwà. Olódùmarè láyé rí lára wa o.
A.m. in the morning. No power. A.m. in the morning. The church. 2 a.m. in the morning, the watchman. 3 a.m. in the morning, the watchman. 4 a.m. in the morning, courtroom. 5 a.m. in the morning, the mosque. 6 a.m. in the morning, Fuji music. 7 a.m. in the morning, the news. 8 a.m. in the morning, power. 10 a.m. in the morning, no more power. 'Good morning, my neighbors.'
That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll take a few minutes just so we can get settled and have a quick chat.
Okay.
But that was absolutely fantastic. There's so much at play there and so much you were doing all at once. Perfect. So if anybody has any questions about the performance, I'll be keeping an eye on the Facebook Live comments. So if you do have any questions or comments, do post them there. Simi, that was fantastic. Such a good job.
Yeah, thank you, Mari. It's good to see you.
So I've been kind of starting off these little chats really informally. Did you want to just tell us a little bit more about your practice and about this performance?
Okay, it's I just try to put myself in a state of mind that I just want to use. I just want to record all the sound in my mind. Like I want to record it and play it for the audience. You get like the sound that I experience every day. You get my everyday, like my everyday life. You get, and then it talks about sound and the condition of the environment to how it affects us as humans, as creative people. You get, so I just try to convey that to my audience.
Fantastic, thank you. How did because in kind of submitting the performance, kind of the idea of the electricity and how that's something that is like an everyday act of kind of getting this generator going. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Because I found that a really amazing part of the performance.
It's something that is a norm right now here, because we are still battling with the power issue. So I tend to aware the people about how these things affect us as humans. So I know there's no alternative, but I just have to aware the people, like, okay, this thing is really doing bad things to us, and we need to be conscious about all these things. And then I try to put a little bit of myself into it too.
Amazing. How do you have any sort of preparation for kind of getting in the mindset to perform? Is there like a certain ritual you go through to kind of get in that headspace? Because I find like even talking now on this live stream, I need to take a few minutes before we go live just so I can kind of get in that headspace to talk to people and kind of perform in its own way.
The thing is, it's my first time performing this piece, and it's my first time. I would say it's still a work in progress. Like I still need to add some like other elements to make it. Every work of art is a work in progress. Like, but I just want to do more. I want to talk about other things, to look for a way to talk about other things too. And then I would like to present it properly to the people, because I know it's a message to the people. So that's my intention.
Well, I'd say that's fantastic for first performance, absolutely. One thing kind of we've been talking about in these Q&As and kind of across the festival, how have you found the transition to having to work online? Because I know a lot of us have found it quite difficult to be talking through a computer screen.
So difficult, I must say, so difficult. Dealing with third world natives issues, and then you're dealing with how to manage in new states. So I feel like this is my first time doing this, so I just have to do it. But I really want to thank you for the opportunity. I want to thank Fab for the opportunity.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you working with us as well. And one thing kind of, as we've talked in the weeks kind of leading up to this festival, one of the big things with our group is that we are international, and we're kind of all over the globe. So dealing with internet connection and time zones and things like that is something we've really had to kind of work with as well. Now that you've kind of been through the performance and you're out the other side, kind of looking forward to more collaboration in the future. How have you found the collaborative elements of our festival, the Exquisite Corpse, and kind of the chats?
It's a great thing to me. I must say that it's a great thing to me. I would like to work with you guys again. It's just about the pandemic. I've been trying to pull a lot of things together. I still want to message each and everybody. I still want to send a message to each and everybody personally and talk about how we can work, and then collectively, which is the most essential thing.
I'm glad you're excited. It's been kind of listening to all the exquisite quirks because compiling them. It's really great that I can start to recognize people's styles and patterns and how they're kind of editing. So I think we have some very exciting things ahead of us as well. In kind of looking forward to next year's festival, hopefully being able to kind of show the work in a different format. Is there ways that you think you can see your practice changing with this online setup, or ways that you would just do it completely differently, possibly in next year's festival?
Well, as an artist, I would say I'm open. I'm very, very open to adapt to anything that comes. But I just want to keep it. I want to keep it very the way it is. I want to project myself with people, no matter how, no matter how says I just want to do that.
Yeah, and I guess it is hard to say as well what might happen over the next while collaborating. You mentioned in your statement that kind of people are really important to the work, and in the work that you have on the website, it kind of shows you walking out and kind of performing kind of through the public. Is that public interaction something really important in your work?
Yeah, because I think that's the only way you can leave a message. Only way you can leave that you can make that relevant. You're trying. Sorry, I have a feedback. I have some feedback. Okay. Okay. All right. So I think that's the only way you can make that statement of relevance, and then you can leave it. You can give them a takeaway, and then they can think about it. Because not everybody have the opportunity to go to a theater today here around here. Let me say, not everybody have the opportunity to go to the theater or see a normal performance. So this is the only way that you can connect to the people directly by having a non-conventional space where you take your art and craft and show it to them.
I think that's a really good point, especially, I take that kind of for granted in London, where there's so much art all the time and it's always accessible in kind of whatever form you want. But being able to use performance and kind of introduce it in a new way and introduce new themes through it, I think is actually really exciting to be working with. In your statement, you talk about using kind of traditional African kind of song and mixing it with electronic music. Where did those two kind of collide for you?
Yeah, because I like to think out of the box. That's just like my major. I have a band. Like I work with some guys, and we experimenting with rare African music. We're just trying to break out of the norm. So we've been doing that. We've been having that, running for a while. So I intend to just because I have this in theater too at the country of Africa. So I just use elements of my experience there to and put it into music, and that has been what I've been doing.
I love that, especially because we're such an international group. I think you can see in kind of some of the conversations we've been having, really where a lot of our global influences kind of start to come in. And I think it's great starting to kind of merge that experimental sound. And that's, I think, a common thread with a lot of our artists as well. I think we're just getting to the end of our time, but I want to say thank you again. That was a phenomenal performance, and I'm really looking forward to working with you more over the next little while.
Likewise.
Perfect. So thank you everybody for tuning in and who watched our last official live performance. Amazing, good job all around. In the next few days, we'll have some workshops and an open studio for people that want to come in and say hi and chat. So hopefully we will see you then as well. And we'll sign off. Goodbye from me.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.